Are we on the brink of a new Cold War? Is Donald Trump's legacy spinning out of control as Russia pulls the strings in Venezuela? How much longer can the United States afford to ignore the strategic implications of this escalating conflict? In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel, HotPoint, give it a like and leave a comment of at least 7 words, and if you feel like it, share this video with others. It will really help my channel. Thank you, and let's keep going. If you think the tensions between the United States and Venezuela are just another South American crisis, you are gravely underestimating the storm that is brewing. This time, there's a third player in the game, and that player is Russia. Moscow is once again sending strategic bombers to Caracas, following a pattern established in 2008, 2013, and 2018. But the stakes have never been higher, and this situation feels less like routine saber rattling and more like a high-stakes poker game teetering on the edge of nuclear blackmail. A date that has already been dubbed Turning Point is September 15, 2025. On this fateful day, the United States launched an attack on a Venezuelan vessel allegedly carrying illegal cargo. President Donald Trump, being true to form, framed this act as a defense of international law. However, instead of the stated aim of fighting the smuggling, the world witnessed a strike involving precision weaponry, a Hellfire AGM-114 missile launched from an MQ-9A Reaper drone. This incident exemplifies the heartless, technologically sophisticated nature of modern warfare, where death arrives silently without a warning and accountability. In the United States, there's a tendency to glorify targeted operations, minimizing collateral damage, and humanitarian objectives. Yet every time such rhetoric is invoked, it is invariably followed by smoke, bloodshed, and further escalation. The AGM-114 missile is a favorite among Pentagon military personnel due to its modularity. It can be launched from helicopters, drones, land-based platforms, or naval vessels. Its precision is attributed to a semi-active laser guidance system, allowing a target to be eliminated mere seconds after being locked on. With dozens of modifications ranging from fragmentation to armor-piercing types, this missile is ideal for stealth operations. However, when it comes to aggression against a sovereign state, such versatility transforms into a threat to global equilibrium. This is no longer merely about Venezuela. It sends a message to all nations. If the United States believes it can employ such tactics in the Western Hemisphere, then any country in Latin America could potentially find itself in the crosshairs. Moscow has not remained silent, and the Kremlin's response has been firm and unequivocal. Any U.S. intervention in Venezuelan affairs will be viewed as a threat to strategic stability. What does this mean in plain language? If the White House does not back down, Russia is prepared to deploy its air defense forces in the region. This is no longer mere diplomacy, it is a subtle hint at a military balance of power right in the United States' backyard. To grasp the seriousness of this threat, one need only examine the technical specifications of Russian systems. Take, for instance, the 5th-generation fighter jet Su-57, which is often compared to the American F-35B, the very aircraft actively utilized by the U.S. Marine Corps. However, this comparison does not tilt in favor of the latter. The F-35B is indeed versatile, capable of taking off from short runways and even landing vertically. But in an aerial combat scenario, the Su-57 has the upper hand. This Russian aircraft boasts exceptional maneuverability thanks to its thrust vectoring engines. It is faster, has a longer range, and can stay aloft longer. Its radar operates across multiple bands, including the L-band, allowing it to detect even stealth technologies. Importantly, it is designed not for display, but for hunting. The Su-57 carries a greater combat payload, capable of housing both air-to-air missiles and long-range cruise missiles. It is not concerned with operational flexibility like its American counterpart. Its sole mission is to engage and destroy its adversary. So, when Pentagon officials boast about their technological superiority, Moscow merely smirks. On paper, the figures may seem impressive, but in the skies, other factors matter: range, maneuverability, firepower, and readiness for direct confrontation. In these respects, the Russian aircraft holds a clear advantage. And now, as Russian strategic bombers approach Venezuela once more, the United States faces a critical choice. They can either continue playing their muscular diplomacy game or recognize that the geopolitical landscape has shifted, and now not only Washington is making the moves. This is where things get particularly intriguing. When it comes to strategic aviation, the conversation shifts from naval forces or drones to nuclear deterrence, to a balance that hangs by a thread. Russia is making a move that sends chills not only throughout Latin America, but also in the Pentagon. We are talking about the deployment of the Tu-160 strategic bombers to Venezuela. This is not just an aircraft, it is a flying threat cloaked in glossy white. The heaviest, fastest, and most formidable bomber with variable sweep wings currently in existence, the Tu-160 combines speed, power, and range into one package. It can approach targets at supersonic speeds, dip below radar detection zones, and unleash a dozen cruise missiles. These are not just any missiles. We're talking about the X-100-1 and X-100-2, with ranges exceeding 5,000 kilometers. Moreover, these missiles can carry nuclear warheads. American analysts openly acknowledge that the southern border of the United States, the southern approach, is a zone where the level of protection is significantly lower than, say, the eastern seaboard. The Tu-160 is precisely the weapon that could exploit this vulnerability, turning it into a strategic pressure point. How many of these machines does Russia possess? According to open sources, between 12 and 18. Some are undergoing repairs and a few more are still being completed, but everyone understands that in matters of nuclear deterrence, counting is a thankless task. Moscow will never reveal the exact number of battle-ready machines it has at its disposal, and this is all part of the strategy. Furthermore, Russia retains around 40 Tu-95 MS and less than 55 Tu-22 M3 in reserve. Is this not a significant arsenal? Perhaps. But when each aircraft guarantees destruction, those numbers become relative. America has grown accustomed to the role of the hunter. But when the hunter suddenly realizes that another predator is watching him from the jungle, the calmness dissipates. Russia is not just waving its flag, it is baring its teeth. However, the sky above Venezuela is not the only area under scrutiny. It has become a trap for any uninvited guests, all thanks to a robust shield constructed along Russian designs, armed with technology that has already proven its effectiveness in other hotspots around the globe. Venezuela's air defense system is far from a museum exhibit. It represents a real combat architecture. Its arsenal includes a comprehensive range of surface-to-air missile systems, from the S-300VM to Buk M2, alongside Pechora, Igla, and Zu-232 anti-aircraft guns. Each element plays a distinct role, from engaging high-flying targets to countering attacks from cruise missiles and drones. This is not a single umbrella, it is a cascade of overlapping domes designed for various scenarios. Thanks to Moscow's assistance, Caracas has transformed into a sort of fortress, more precisely into a base that not only defends itself but also serves as a deterrent. Every hour that an American fighter jet spends in this region becomes a game of roulette. Somewhere on the ground, in the Green Hills, there is a team with a radar system watching the skies for any unwelcome guests, and that team is ready to press the button. What happens when a once-dominant superpower suddenly finds itself challenged right on its doorstep? How does the United States react when a nation, not only surviving but thriving amid conflict, aligns itself with another global player? As Caracas and Moscow forge a new alliance, the implications ripple far beyond Latin America, shaking the foundations of the international order. In recent years, the United States has faced unprecedented challenges from nations it once deemed inconsequential. For the first time in decades, it encounters a nation, Venezuela, that not only endures after American airstrikes, but also possesses the capability and the will to respond decisively. This newfound partnership with Russia represents more than mere diplomacy. It signifies a stark shift in the geopolitical landscape. Here, we witness a collaboration that is not rooted in dependency or financial handouts, but in a shared understanding of mutual threats and aspirations. This alliance is built on a foundation of technical cooperation, free from the usual strings attached. The message is clear. If one nation falters, the other stands resilient. This development has sent shockwaves through Washington, where the traditional perception of a controlled, unipolar world is being fundamentally challenged. What was once a gray area of influence has transformed into an active, armed response. American drones might fly over foreign territories, launching missiles, but this action transcends mere military engagement. It represents a profound provocation. It signals the collapse of old agreements, revealing that the rules of international order hold sway only when they serve U.S. interests. The stakes have escalated. Should Venezuela and Russia respond to an incursion, it would become painfully evident that the United States is unprepared for true parity, especially regarding military capabilities. The events that unfolded in September 2025 were not merely regional skirmishes. They represented a fracture in the structure that has supported a unipolar world for decades. This fissure originated in Latin America, and serendipitously, Russia emerged as a willing partner to expand that crack. Moscow's involvement is not just a passive observation, it is a bold declaration. From this moment forward, every move made by the United States will be scrutinized, monitored, and, if deemed necessary, countered. The response from the White House has been predictably restrained, echoing the tired narratives about combating smuggling, regional security, and fulfilling international commitments. However, behind closed doors, sources indicate that the atmosphere is far from calm. Military officials are clamoring for more information regarding the positioning of Russian aircraft and systems, while diplomats rush to revise sanctions lists. Meanwhile, strategists are redrawing maps, plotting new red lines that, as history suggests, may not be respected. As tensions simmer, Caracas has transformed into a hub of military activity. Venezuelan officers are conducting night drills alongside their Russian counterparts, practicing scenarios to repel massive aerial assaults. Locals gaze skyward, hearing the distant roar of aircraft, whether it's the Tu-160 strategic bomber or a transport jet carrying essential equipment. One undeniable truth emerges. They are no longer alone in this geopolitical struggle. The critical question now looms large. Who, in fact, is in isolation? Who finds themselves backed into a corner, with diminishing room for maneuver? The answer is uncomfortable. When accustomed to dictating terms, the sudden realization that you are met not with applause, but with an array of air defense systems and a strategic bomber is a bitter pill to swallow. The reassuring assumptions can unravel quickly, and everything once thought secure may slip away, especially when engaged in conflicts on foreign soil. In this climate of uncertainty, the balance of power is shifting, and the consequences will be felt globally. As Caracas and Moscow stand united, the ripple effects challenge the very tenets of American hegemony. Where will this lead? The world watches closely as the landscape of international relations undergoes a seismic transformation, one that could redefine the rules of engagement for years to come.